The Witch of Hissing Hill. Story by Mary Calhoun. Pictures by Janet McCaffery and read by Brett Bone. Far back in the hill country is Hissing Hill. It's a bare, lonely spot with one twisted house and a tall fir tree behind it. And once upon a time, the hill was aswarm with black witch cats. Cats arching their backs on the rooftop, cats chasing up the fir tree, cats yowling on crooked fence posts, cats hissing in every corner of the shackly house, and all of them black, 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 for there lived a wicked old witch named Sizzle. She had strings of black hair and long, skinny feet, and she could figure up more meanness than any witch in the hills. But meanness wasn't her main business. Sizzle raised witch cats. That was her fame. Witches came from miles around to buy their cats from Sizzle. Her cats were the witchiest, the wickedest, the very worst, wonderful witch cats in the world. Their hisses were jagged with sharp white teeth. Their howls made the blood shiver. Their eyes gleamed yellow with hate. And definitely, most surely, Sizzle's cats were the blackest of witch cats. Blacker than Halloween midnight they were. Blacker than chimney soot. Blacker than the bottom of Sizzle's cook pot. Best, they knew all the wicked ways of witch cats. Sizzle taught them. She taught them spitting and scratching and scary black slinking. She taught them to cross people's paths for bad luck. And she taught them to yowl. Most important of all, she taught the cats staring. Steady, long staring out of unblinking eyes. Each cat sat on the witch's hearth, watching her pot of magic brew. For when a witch mixes magic, she needs a black cat to stare at the pot. It's the look from the cat's eyes that makes magic work. That makes a spell gel. So Sizzle's cats flourished on Hissing Hill. Then came Gold. When Gold was born, her black mother backed off and hissed in horror at the sight. Her only child was yellow, not black. Oh, the shame of it all! At first she hid the fluff of yellow so that Sizzle wouldn't know. But that was a mistake, for now Gold had a chance to grow. Came the day when Sizzle spied the yellow kitten bouncing out from under the bed. Then, oh, the screaming and the scolding! The old witch was so mad that her screeches lifted her 2 feet off the floor. Gold's mother was so ashamed that she lashed her tail around herself 3 times and just purely disappeared. Gold only purred and wove her yellow striped tail around the witch's bony ankles. Sizzle's shrieks were so horrible, she sailed right up to the ceiling and whacked her head. "Terrible!" she wailed. "The cat's nice!" Old Sizzle tore at her strings of hair. What if this yellow female grew up and had kittens? She'd ruin the stock. Whoever heard of a yellow striped black witch cat who was half nice? What respecting a witch would buy her cat? By witchery, Gold must go. Sizzle plopped down to the floor, grabbing her broom. She shoved Gold toward the door. "Out! Out of my house!" she cried. Now Gold was yellow and Gold was nice, but she had a bit of mustard in her yellow for spice. She skipped away from the broom, and with a flicker of her tail, she tickled Sizzle's feet. "Oh, ha!" crackled the old witch, hopping up and down to get away from the tickling. She swatted at Gold with her broom. Gold just winked one eye and flipped her tail. and the broom straws turned to yellow striped feathers. Shriek! Scream! Howl! Sizzle's very best magical broom. She would have killed Gold right there if she could, but everyone knows you can't kill a witch's cat. Witch cats only get old and disappear. Gold sniffed at Sizzle's toes and slid her tail over them. Sizzle's feet always hurt, but Gold's soothing tail was making the ache go away. Sizzle almost purred with delight. Then, "Oh no!" she cried. "Don't come schmoothing up to me, you nasty yellow cat." Just then there was a rushing sound in the sky. Over the fir tree flew two witches on their brooms. "Misery!" cried Sizzle. "They'll see this yellow cat. They're never gonna trust my stock of black witch cats." Pinching some of her magic salt, she sprinkled it on Gold. "Heckata backata," she mumbled, chanting a hasty spell, and Gold turned into a small yellow pillow. Sizzle tossed it on her cot and hurried outside. Crackle, whoomp! Old Witch Hagglestone landed in Sizzle's herb patch, crushing the bushes. Witch Hagglestone was a big, bossy witch who didn't care what trouble she caused. Witch Flummery wavered down on her broom, making a bumpy landing. "Came to peck a new cat," said Old Witch Hagglestone. She stumped around the yard, looking for one to suit her. Witch Flummery fluttered after her. A snarl of cats were quarreling under the fir tree, and Witch Hagglestone picked the winner. He was a tough Tom with fight-notched ears and named Old Scratch. On a fence post, Witch Flummery found a slant-eyed Jezebel. Now, would they take their cats and go? Not go near that yellow pillow at all? No, the visiting witches wanted to test their cats' powers at staring. Witch Hagglestone ordered, "Mix up some magic. Let's see how these cats work." She started for the house, but Sizzle rushed ahead of her. Good. Gold was still a pillow on the cot. Flummery flopped down on the cot, and the pillow meowed. "Oh dear!" Flummery cried, peering about. "Did I sit on a cat?" "Misery, misery," whispered Sizzle, for the yellow pillow was putting out a tail. Sizzle threw the pillow under the cot before nearsighted Flummery could see it. Now the pot of hate medicine was bubbling angrily. Witch Sizzle sat Old Scratch on the hearth to do his staring job. The magical stew sucked in and it seethed. Old Scratch stared at it from the hearth, and under the cot the pillow now had two yellow eyes. They, too, stared at the pot. At last the brew gave a loud pop, and a horrid green steam went up to signal it was done. "Fine," said Witch Hagglestone. "I'll take Old Scratch. Now let's try out Flummery's cat." "How is she on spells?" asked the Fluttery Witch. Sizzle felt better now that the hate medicine was done, and Old Hagglestone was satisfied. "Spells are that cat's specialty," she bragged. "Well, just turn day into night." The visiting witches drew in their breaths, for that was the hardest spell of all. Jezebel sat in front of Sizzle, staring with eyes like yellow moons. The witch whirled around, wove her arms into twists, and began to murmur the spell. As she shrieked the last word, she pointed a bony finger at the sun through the window, and pop! Jezebel turned into a yellow cat. So did Old Scratch. the sun kept shining, same as ever. Hagglestone screamed, and Flumery hid her face in her cloak. "Yellow!" screeched old Hagglestone. "You fool! You've made yellow witch cats! Don't you know yellow witch cats are good witch cats?" Grabbing chance to ward off the goodness, the two witches whooshed away on their brooms. Sizzle stood horrified, looking at the two yellow cats on her hearth. Of course, yellow witch cats are good witch cats, full of powerful good magic. Then Gold, all yellow cat again, came purring out from under the cot and wove her tail around the witch's feet. What a nice little cat she was, soothing away the ache. No! Sizzle stopped herself. Nasty little good cat? Worrisome troublemaker. She tried to kick Gold, but somehow her foot wouldn't do it. By witchery, the cat's goodness was rubbing off. Quickly, Sizzle drank a whole cup of hate medicine, but sure and true, Gold was a good witch cat, and good yellow magic is stronger than bad black magic. The stare from her eyes had changed the brew in the pot. It wasn't hate medicine at all. It was love medicine. Sizzle felt a smile plump out her face. Her bony claw fingers smoothed into softness, and she reached down to stroke Gold's back. The wicked old witch had turned into a loving good witch. Then Sizzle brought in all of her black cats. She made a spell with Gold's help, and pop, 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 every witch cat turned yellow and good. The cats purred, and they played, and they chased their tails, and all had mustard in their yellow for spice. The winks in their eyes meant magic for fun. Sizzle still raises witch cats, yellow witch cats, tricking and tumbling on Hissing Hill. Now good witches and fairy godmothers come from miles around to buy her cats, for Sizzle's good cats are her fame. But if you ever see a yellow cat purring and winking a gold eye, watch out, for you never know what a yellow witch cat will do. Thank you so much for listening. This is a wonderful book, and it's perfect for this time of year. Please join me again on Aunt Brett's Story Time, where you can watch more great stories like this. And please click the subscribe and like button so I can grab you guys some more content and read it aloud for you. Have a great day. Bye.